Well, I'm just preparing myself for tomorrow's small adventure. I'm not allowed big adventures at the moment, so it's just going to be a small adventure. And I'm just getting ready. The pollen count, excuse me, the pollen count is quite high just now, which is not good for people who suffer from hay fever. And you know, it's taken a long time for me to realise I suffer from hay fever, but I do. I mean, even as a child, I remember the kind of burning sort of sensation at the back of my throat, and a kind of cough that went on for months, but nobody seemed to kind of twig what it was, you know. But it's hay fever, right? So there's a few things that you can do to kind of mitigate the effects of all that histamine. And I've got a few of them here. I mean, it's sort of unlikely that any one thing will make a huge difference, but a combination of things kind of nibble at the whole thing a bit and perhaps make things a little bit easier, because it can be pretty miserable. There's things that you can eat, you know, grapes, broccoli. These apparently all have sort of certain properties that might help to sort of reduce the effects of histamine, you know, have antihistamine properties. Vitamin C as well, it kind of pretty high dose. So that each of these tablets is a gram of vitamin C. Your body only needs about 40 or 60 milligrams, and anything above that is excreted in your urine. But it is thought that while it's in your body, it may again have antihistamine properties, and as I say, all these little things together may make a difference. I mean, obviously there's hay fever and allergy remedies. Some of them can make you a bit drowsy, and some of them, like this one, allegedly don't make you drowsy. Although it says in the instructions that, you know, some people may experience a little bit of drowsiness. These are, you know, one of these a day. These are about the best that I found. But while they don't make me drowsy, they do kind of zonk me a little bit. I do find that it just kind of, I can do nothing much but kind of sit in a seat and watch the telly, you know. I don't seem up for anything. And it's often hard to know whether that fatigue is down to the high levels of histamine and the hay fever, or whether it's to the antihistamine pills that you take. As such, I don't take these all the time. I might take one for one day, and that'll do me for a while, just to kind of try to nip things in the bud a wee bit. But yeah, and of course, when you're out and about on adventures, small or large, then it is thought to be a good idea to perhaps just rub a little bit of Vaseline, or, I mean, this is petroleum jelly I've got here, which is essentially the same as Vaseline. It's called petroleum jelly. Rub a little bit around your nose, and perhaps even on your lips. And the hope is that it just traps any pollen that is trying to find its way up your nose, and it'll get perhaps trapped on the gel. Just a little bit, you know. Let's have a shot at this. Yeah, and I think that should probably be enough. You don't want to overdo it. So that's me ready for a small adventure. Hello there. Well, without wishing to sound too much like that guy in the television programme Are You Being Served? I'm free. Absolutely free. This is the first time I've been out of the house properly for the past 3 months. You know, like into the countryside. Like everybody else, I suppose. Because since March, all I've been doing is, when I've left the house, I've just been wandering the streets of Partick or walking around my local park. It's just so good to get out. There's a part of me wants to kind of run around backwards and forwards, waving my hands in the air and shouting, I'm free. As free as a bird. I'm in Drumclog Moor, which is just a little north of Milngavie, and heading in the direction of Mugdock Wood. It's just a small adventure today. You know, we're not allowed big adventures yet. I think we're in phase 2 of this lockdown, and the advice is to, you know, you can go out, but stick within a 5-mile radius of where you stay. And I think a lot of other things are going to get partially lifted at the beginning or mid-July, and then we'll be able to go further. But at the moment it's just small adventures that we're allowed. And today we're going to go in search of the trees that are numbered, because somewhere in this moor there are trees that are numbered. Yeah, numbered trees. This isn't one of them. I mean, it's hard to imagine that it could get more exciting than this, you know. Numbered trees. So let's see if we can find them. Well, this is the first of the trees that are numbered that I found. This one is number 06631. I see another one over there. Let's go and have a closer look at that one just over there. Actually, that one over there wasn't numbered. It had a leaf on it which looked like a number. So let's talk a wee bit about this. I mean, I discovered these numbered trees a few years back, and it quite surprised me. I thought, why are these trees numbered? You know, that's the main question here. And I passed a couple there out walking their dogs, and he reckons it's part of, the chap reckons it's part of some sort of census. You know, it's not just humans that get a census. Trees, according to that chap, a part of a census. Somebody must go around the woods and talk to each of the different... It's okay. You're all right.
No, it's okay.
There.
I'm just having a wee look around today anyway.
Aye.
I think it's going to get too muddy for me.
Well, probably not, but okay.
Where did the path come out?
At the edge of Mugdock Wood.
Right, okay.
I mean, just on you go. Don't, the camera's
No, it's
there.
honestly, I've been another walk. I was just coming to investigate for another time.
Right, okay. Yeah, so somebody must go around the wood and question all the trees. I'll have a notepad and or a clipboard and a pen. And they'll say, okay, what's that tree are you then? And stuff like that. And that tree will be mapped out as part of the census. I had, I mean, before I bumped into that chap, I had other notions of why they were numbered. You know, I mean, perhaps at some point somebody just had a few spare moments, got a bit bored sitting about and thought to himself, tell you what, let's number the trees. And somebody else said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, let's do it. Or maybe it was part of a government employment scheme where they sent all these unemployed folk out with great purpose. Your task for today is to go into the woods and put a number on all the trees. That'll make your life feel fulfilled and purposeful. Alternatively, another kind of theory is that perhaps trees have to be traceable in the same way that animals are traceable. You know, cattle, they've got a number. Every animal, sheep, cattle, got a number stuck in their ear. And perhaps it's the same with trees, that once they reach a certain age, they're numbered so that they're traceable. So that many years from now, when somebody's looking at their wardrobe and it's full of bits, and they'll say, that's not good wood. We'll need to trace this wood and find out where it came from. And they know exactly where every part of their furniture was born. It's a good theory as any. You know, in fact, it's a better theory than a census, if I'm honest. But it's just, somebody's come out here and stuck a number on, it's not all the trees, it's only certain trees. And of course the question is, if this is 06631, where is 06632? Indeed, where is number 1? Where is the number 1 tree? If anybody knows, for goodness sake, drop me a comment and let me know. We have to go on we have to extend this quest into forests all over the land in search of the number 1 tree. This is what happens when you're cooped up in the house for 3 months. You get out and you become even crazier than you were when you were stuck in your house. Let's see if I can find more numbered trees. 0693, I think. And all covered in green mossy stuff. It doesn't look like a well tree, that one. I need to put that in the book. There's got to be a book somewhere. Zero 6624. I mean, the thing is that there must be a database somewhere, or a huge paper sort of volume with all the details recorded. And there'll be a left-hand column with the numbers. And what else will it say? I mean, it'll say 06624, and the right-hand side will say tree. What else could it possibly say? Maybe it gives a GPS location of that tree. The thing is, a lot of these trees don't look very well. There's all this kind of green mossy stuff that's really, I think, killing them. And in fact, there's a few leaves at the top, but this is almost a dead tree. Yeah, so that would be something to put in that kind of database, you know, 06624, almost expired. Well, I think we'll call it a day there, or here, or wherever. It's just been a lovely kind of little donder of a couple of hours. A couple of hours of lurking in the undergrowth and just having a whale of a time. You know, just the simple pleasures of ferns and trees. And, this sort of goes downhill. We're almost at the edge of Mugdock Wood, and I'll cut back to Milngavie from there. We so need this, you know, this getting out into the countryside. It's so much a part of what we're all about. And I feel as if I can breathe a wee bit now. And hopefully the next time we'll be able to do a big adventure. I've still got my eyes on Newborough. You know, you sometimes, when this first started, I kind of thought maybe June we could be back to normal. But I mean, we're almost at some sort of normal, but it's okay, on you go. Just don't fall over. Yeah, it's looking as if the middle of July we'll be back to some semblance of normality, but there is that kind of horrible feeling at the back of your mind that things will never be the same again. And I think there's probably a certain amount of truth in that. You know, as a guy on his own, I love sitting in pubs. You know, I just love sitting at the counter and chatting to the bar staff or chatting to somebody else who might be sitting at the counter. It's where the bulk of my social activity comes from. And, you know, there has been occasions where I've been drinking too many beers, too much beer, you know, too much of anything's not good for you, and too many beers is not good at all. But I love beer, I love pubs, and the very idea that we're going to be going to a pub when they actually open in the middle of July and not be able to sit at the counter, going to have to sit down at a seat a certain distance from other folk and maybe wave at them or shout across the room. It's just not going to be the same. And it's such a huge part of my life, and a lot of other people's lives will have gone, and you have to wonder whether it will ever come back again. Of course, the people in Glasgow I don't know about other parts of Scotland, but in Glasgow, we're actually pretty good at shouting. You know, hanging out the windows, shouting at folk in the street. Oh, Jamesy, the cheese and onion ones. Or get us a few fritters. Or whatever. So we're quite good at shouting. So I suspect that in this new normal inside public houses, we'll somehow get by. And we'll be able to shout and engage in some form of communication with other people in the pub. Although I have to admit that I'm thinking about getting a megaphone. That could be the way to go. I'm Eddie Burns. Take care, and I'll see you again.